I'm catching up on some tarot deck reviews today. So for this edition of Tarot Reviews with Talula, we're going to be taking a look at the Dark Fairytale Tarot. I don't have the box with me right now. It's somewhere, but it's, it's one of those throwaway low Scarabeo ones. So it's not one that, you're missing anything out of. It's tiny. It just fits the cards, and it's that cheap plastic that you just throw out immediately. Here is the backing to the decks, which I don't like at all, but it's up to you if you like them or not. It comes with a typical little white book that you think, okay, that's got some information, and it's really just in multiple languages, so you probably have like 3 or 4 pages of information. It's a little clearer than a lot of their little white books are, but it still gives you a lot of, it's more just like a piece of mythology, and then, you're figuring out your meanings yourself. So if you're new to tarot, you are going to need another book along with this. I would recommend Kim Huggins' Tarot 101. If not that, then Rachel Pollack's 78 Degrees of Wisdom, or Psychic Tarot by Nancy Antonucci and someone else, and I'm sorry, but I've lost the name. Pollack's The New Tarot Handbook is great as well. So you are going to need another book if you're just starting with tarot. The borders are traditional Scarabeo borders. They're black. They don't take away from the images that much, so I don't mind them. I don't know really what to say about this deck. I don't hate this deck. This is why I like to watch tarot reviews on YouTube, because when I was thinking of purchasing this, and I purchased this, I think I might have still been pregnant with Vincent when I purchased this deck, so it was a while ago. I just saw a few images on Eclectic Tarot forum, whatever it is, and it looked pretty good, and I thought, okay, I mean, it is that photo thing, photorealism thing, however you want to, whatever genre you want to put it in, that irks me at times, but I love dark themed decks. I mean, that's what I work the best with. So I thought this would be another one to add to my collection, and I thought that I would use it more. And then I got it, I actually received it, and was at first bitterly disappointed in it because a lot of the images really don't speak to me very much. But now as time's gone by and I've used it more, it's a very clear tarot deck, and most tarot decks are. I mean, if you're clear when you're working with them. But I don't have a deep connection with this deck, and some of the images really irritate me. I mean, there are some, especially the male images, where it's just knockoffs of like Lord of the Ring images, etc. And I really feel like with the word dark fairy tale, like when I think of something that's involving dark fairy tales, I get really excited because I have a deep fascination and fantasy regarding dark fairy tales. It takes me to a place and time where oftentimes I would really like to just stay there in that space, and I have a whole area in my mind, in my imagination, that I go to and interact there quite regularly. And that might be something you do, it might not. Either way, it's something that's very real to me, and that if you're using the term dark fairy tale, you have a lot to live up to. For instance, the book Fairytale Rituals by Kenny Klein engage the dark, eerie, and erotic power of familiar stories. This book lives up to the dark fairy tale image that I have. And this depiction, if we could have a whole tarot deck by this artist, how delicious would that be? But that's beside the point. This is what I think of when I think of dark fairy tale. This deck is definitely not like that. These are the knockoff images that are quite clearly Lord of the Rings style, and they really follow no dark fairy tale theme. Like, I mean, you really could have jumped off anywhere with this. Like, each suit could have been a different fairy tale, and you could have gone back before Grimm, back before Disney, like before we bastardized what the fairy tales are really telling us. And you could have really gone and sunk your teeth into the myths that are involved with fairy tales, and really, really gotten some great imagery for us. But I feel like we missed that. But these are the knockoff ones. This is the King of Cups. Knockoff. This is the most blatant one, and of course, it's the Hierophant. Rory, are you watching this? Yeah, it's Saruman. as the Pope. Whatever. Another Tolkien. This is the King of Pentacles. Another Tolkien, King of Scepters. This makes me think of Theoden. And then another one, again, this is the Emperor, which makes me think of Theoden as well. Oh, I just don't like it when we do that. I mean, I talked about that in my Gods and Titans deck review, even though I love that deck. It's like, we don't really need to go there with it, but whatever. So let me start with the images that didn't really do it for me. This is the Seven of Pentacles. The colors are great in this one. Just doesn't speak to me about what I typically think of when I interact with the Seven of Pentacles energy. And because that is a lot about my life experience card in my birth chart, the Seven of Pentacles, I expect a lot out of the Seven of Pentacles. So I expect tarot with vampires out of my Seven of Pentacles. This image, this is the Hermit. I don't know. I mean, the Hermit is just such an amazing card. Like, I don't know what is that? Can you see that? What is that? I don't know. I like the wolf. That's about it. I feel like we took Dark Fairytale to mean try to knock off Lord of the Rings, the movie, in some ways, and also be creepy in a spooky way. The High Priestess, I just butchered the High Priestess in my opinion. What is she? The Papess? I mean, is she Joan? I don't know. She's not what I think of when I think of the High Priestess, though. I don't think she's holding the dark mysteries, you know. I like the moon at the bottom. That's cool, but This is the Devil. I expect a lot out of the Devil card, and I very rarely find a Devil card that I like. The Journey of the Hidden Realms tarot deck, the Devil card, which is called the Shadow Dance in that deck, is a gorgeous representation of the Devil. This is... whatever. You can see why I don't like it, if you don't like it. If you love it, then this is the deck for you. Please know that. The Magician. I don't know. I don't know. It's just not right. It just doesn't work for me. Ace of Swords. I'm sorry. Yes, Ace of Swords. This is the Nine of Wands. I don't know. Three of Swords. Again, this is a card that you can do so much with, and I just feel really kind of let down by this image. It just doesn't really do it for me. Now, this is where it gets frustrating because you have to keep looking back at this book to see what the key is for the Knights and the Knaves. Okay, this is the Knave of Cups. I like the snake coming out of the cup, but I just don't like this image. Justice. I'll just let you absorb that image. I'm not even going to say anything. If you watch my videos, you know why I don't like that one. And here's the Chariot. So much more could have been done. I like the castle in the background, but I mean, I guess in this deck, you know, Dark Fairytale means just put a castle in there and we're going to be all set, really, for the most part, and we're talking about fairy tales. Seven of Cups, which I had an interesting, brief little Facebook conversation with Rory about this morning, actually. This was the card for the day. And I actually really like this depiction of the Seven of Cups, and it's very grounding, and I appreciate the pentacle or pentagram in the middle. I like it. I like this one a lot. The Queen of Cups, I just like this image. I don't know why. You wouldn't think I would, but I actually do like this image. I like our boots, too, which could be part of it. The Knave of Scepters, I think. Yes, the Knave of Scepters. I just like the colors in this one. Five of Cups, I think this is a really gorgeous one. And I like the bird. I like the feeling of this one. I get the feeling that I would expect to. The Fool card, I don't necessarily like the Fool, but I love the fact that she's holding the Fool card. She's the Fool holding the Fool card. So, right, I mean, we really are the ultimate fool, using divination to help us make choices in our life. That's how some people would perceive us. Some people would say that we're enlightened. So, you know, it's based on perception, and I like the fact that they include that in this deck. I thought that this was a really interesting depiction of the Fool, and it was one of the ones that I saw which encouraged me to buy the deck. The Sun. I think this is a brave depiction of the Sun. I think it's a departure from where we normally go with the Sun, and I really love the birds in this image, the hawks, and I like the fact that we have the sunflowers, but this is a knight. You know, this is a warrior in this image on the horse and not a baby boy. I enjoy that a lot. Seven of Swords, I think it effectively gives you the feeling that it's meant to without a lot of fanfare, and I like that. I like the darkness in the swords element in this card. I think it's definitely a positive. Four of Pentacles. I just like this image, and this was one of the ones that I saw when I went to purchase it. I think it's talking a lot about balance, and I appreciate that. Nine of Swords. I like that they used a different type of image than people typically do, but it still gives you that same feeling that the Nine of Swords does. Three of Pentacles. Now this is where I get conflicted with the deck, because some of the cards are up front, the person's in your face, and it's obviously a manipulated photo. But then we have these where the humans are small. The architecture takes over the picture for the most part. And I like this, but we have just enough cards in this deck like this to throw off the feel of the general theme and feel of the deck for me. If we had had more of this, I don't know, I might have appreciated this deck more. But I like this image. I like the feeling that it gives you. And that was the Three of Pentacles. I don't like that one. I don't know why I put it in there. Ten of Swords. It's pretty obvious. I think it gets it right across to you very quickly. Now this is the Knight of Pentacles, which I like, besides the hands in the foreground. Anytime we get a wolf in there, I like it. Eight of Cups, I like this one. I think it's really clear. Again, talking about journeying, we see the violin again, which was in the Three of Swords, Three of Cups as well. Three of Swords as well. Six of Swords, like this one. This is the Star. It's interesting. I love the stars in the sky, especially, and that's really why I like this one. The Tower. Again, this is close to that Three of Pentacles feeling, where it's more about the architecture and the stones, etc., in the human manipulation of it, of stonework, etc. And I like that. And Death, which is my favorite card in the deck. And this card has been following me around today. Keeps falling out of the deck. So, I especially love the Death card today. But I just really like this image. And I don't know if you can see in this camera, but his eyes, let's see if I can get closer. Can you see that? How there's that little beam of light coming from his eyes, which I really, really love, and I think is quite beautiful. So those were the images that really stuck out for me in this deck as far as liking and disliking. Again, like I said, I'm underwhelmed by the deck as a whole. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I just feel that this is a theme that could have really been given so much more attention, and a deck that is one of those decks that really stays with you and that you have a real relationship with could have been made from this. And it's actually a theme that I would like to explore myself someday within tarot too. So I'm disappointed in the fact that it's called the Dark Fairytale deck and it just doesn't give me that feeling. I have the Dark Angel deck, which is also a Scarabeo deck, and I really love that deck. And I will be doing a review of that deck soon, and I have a funny story about it too, which I will wait to share with that review. But I was really underwhelmed by this deck, and I think I was kind of expecting something a little more along the lines of the Dark Angel Tarot, except with more history and mythology and research done, and I was disappointed. And you know, I have to say, unfortunately, with a lot of Scarabeo decks, which seem to be, for the most part, Rider-Waite-Smith knockoffs, I end up being disappointed in their decks. I just left a little deflated because I was expecting something more. I think that there's something to be said for taking your time when you're creating a deck and really being passionate about it and doing your research and creating artwork that is layered and has multi-dimensional creation attached to it, and a real love for symbolism attached to it in the artwork itself. So as far as that goes, this deck doesn't really, it's not on my keeper list. I mean, I've enjoyed using it. I did just recently use it in a reading for a client and had a good experience with it. I have no complaints about it as far as that goes, but it's not a deck that that I would definitely say it's worth it for you to invest your money. If you've seen the images that I've shown you and you like them, then it is a deck for you. If you're like me, then this isn't really a deck for you. If you're expecting a lot out of your dark themed deck and you want some real meat to sink your teeth into, this isn't the deck for you. I would say purchase Tarot of the Vampires, purchase the Mary L. Tarot, purchase the Louis Lescott Tarot. That's a Scarabeo deck, but that's a great one. I like that deck a lot, and that's a darker themed deck. The Dark Grimoire Tarot, which I think is also Scarabeo, is another great one. So that kind of deck is going to be more fulfilling for you as a reader if you are closer in alignment to my likes with tarot and what I would like to see in a deck and experience with a deck. So if you find that you align closer with that, then this isn't the deck for you. But if you love this imagery, then it is the deck for you, and I encourage you to go out there and get it. Yeah, so that's my feelings about the Dark Fairytale Tarot. I'm underwhelmed by this deck. I think underwhelmed is the perfect word to describe it. I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. I don't really like it either. So it's interesting, it's fine. And I'll know when it's time to gift it to the right person. So it's one of those decks. So I hope this has been helpful if you're considering purchasing the deck. Thank you so much for watching. Many blessings, and I will see you in the next video.